Somebody said if you don't like playing with LeBron, you wouldn't like playing with Kobe. Bro, you guys got to stop these narratives, man. It's not that I didn't like playing with Bron, you guys. And I don't want to go into detail about it. Some of y'all comments just be so asinine. Like when I was in Cleveland.
Kyrie Irving just sparked a fire that could burn down one of the biggest legacies in basketball history. And the craziest part? He did it with a single sentence on a random livestream. No press conference. No sit-down interview. Just a calm, casual truth bomb dropped while the cameras were rolling. The internet went insane instantly. LeBron fans rushed into defense mode. Comments sections turned into battlegrounds. And suddenly everyone remembered. Kyrie Irving isn't just a guy who once played next to LeBron. He's the guy with the receipts. The guy who saw everything behind closed doors. And now, he's ready to talk. What made it even more dangerous was how Kyrie said it. No anger. No ranting. No emotion. He looked straight into the camera with this ice-cold calm and said something that sent shockwaves through every basketball group chat on the planet. When my playing days are over, the real story about what happened with LeBron is coming out. Trust me. That wasn't a tease. That was a promise. And based on how fast panic spread through his comments, LeBron's fanbase knew exactly how explosive that promise could be. So let's break down what Kyrie has really been holding in. Because the deeper you dig into his Cleveland years, the messier everything gets. And it all begins long before LeBron ever returned. People forget this, but Kyrie Irving never wanted to be in Cleveland. That's not shade, that's just reality. He was drafted number 1 in 2011. He had no choice where he landed. And he ended up on a franchise still shattered from LeBron's exit to Miami. Kyrie had insane talent and once-in-a-generation handles. But he was stuck carrying a roster with zero direction.
The reason why I say I would have loved to play with Kobe, because I would have loved to have started my career with, I love Cleveland, don't get me wrong. I'm appreciative of all the things that they've done for me, but at the same time, I would have loved to choose the franchise I wanted to go to. You know what I'm saying? I would have loved to develop next to some of my favorite players and some of my favorite people. Because being a young player, when you're on a team that's not winning a lot of games, there's a lot of bad habits that form, and that's what ended up happening to me when I was very young. I had a lot of bad habits. I was not a winner. I was not a good loser.
Night after night, Kyrie was dragging a bad team to wins that barely mattered. And here's where things start getting interesting. Kyrie later admitted those losing years forced him into habits he never wanted. He became a one-man show not because he was selfish, but because he had no other option. But just when he was finally growing past that and stepping into real leadership, LeBron James announced he was coming back. And in a single moment, Kyrie's entire trajectory flipped upside down. Imagine being a 22-year-old superstar entering your 4th season. The exact moment most players become the face of their franchise. You struggled. You learned. You matured. You're finally ready to run your own team. And then the biggest name in basketball walks in and takes control of everything. Your spotlight? Gone. Your leadership role? Handed to someone else. Your growth? Put on pause indefinitely. That's exactly what happened to Kyrie Irving. And when Kyrie speaks about that era today, he never trashes LeBron directly. But he uses one phrase over and over. Playing with LeBron is a different animal. Not in a good way. In a this changes everything in ways you don't see kind of way. On LeBron's team, you're judged not by your growth, but by how well you fit into his machine. Do you help LeBron win? Do you support his storyline? Can you be the sidekick while someone else controls the narrative? That's where things start getting dark. Because LeBron didn't just bring basketball skills back to Cleveland. He brought something way more powerful. Control.
So when you guys make it about one player, it is kind of just weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just one player that you have to promote. Like, we had like solid players on our team. When you're playing with somebody like Bron or somebody that you guys like to compare him to, it's a different animal. It's a different journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're automatically expected to be at the top of the charts, the top of the league. Every time you play with LeBron, it's going to be a lot of media attention. It's going to be a lot of back and forth of narratives. It's going to be about a lot of spun narratives. It's going to be a lot of politics. It's going to be a lot of shit that a lot of people don't see in front of the camera. And for me, I was just a young person trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? It's not that I dislike playing with LeBron at any time. It was just literally, it was my time to move on. And that's what people got to accept. They want a deeper, detailed dive in terms of what happened. It's like, it was my time to move on.
Now let's bring in Pat Riley, the piece almost everyone overlooks. Before Miami, LeBron was talented but raw. Emotional on the sidelines, shaky in pressure moments, inconsistent as a leader. Then he spent 4 years under Pat Riley's structure. Discipline. Focus. Image control. Narrative control. Miami didn't just polish LeBron as a player, it polished him as a brand. And when he returned to Cleveland, he brought that entire media management machine with him. Kyrie has spoken about this indirectly. How everything around LeBron is filtered, controlled, spun. How stories shift behind the scenes. How politics happen in private. How the narrative always circles back to protecting one person. And Kyrie lived through all of it. Then came the moment that should have changed everything. Game 7 of the 2016 Finals. 24-year-old Kyrie Irving steps back over Steph Curry and hits one of the coldest shots in NBA history. That shot won Cleveland its first title in 50 years. But when Kyrie turned on the TV, all he heard was, "Blocked by James." LeBron's block replayed nonstop. Kyrie's championship-winning dagger barely got mentioned. His moment disappeared in real time. Then LeBron went on TV and said the championship made him the greatest of all time. Not us. Not our team. Just him. Kyrie averaged 27 per game that series. He sealed the title. He was the second best player on the floor. But he became a footnote in his own story. Fast forward to 2017. Kyrie is dropping 29 per game in the finals while Kevin Durant is clearly outplaying LeBron. The Cavs lose, and somehow the blame goes everywhere except LeBron. A month later. Trade rumors. Kyrie suddenly being shopped around like he was the problem. That was the breaking point. Kyrie demanded a trade. Becoming the first superstar of LeBron's era to walk away on his own terms. And the LeBron ecosystem never forgave him. What followed wasn't criticism. It was character assassination. Boston drama? His fault. Injuries? He's unreliable. Personality? He's weird, moody. COVID decision? Ban him from the league. It didn't matter how well he played. The narrative machine had already decided who he was supposed to be. And through it all, LeBron stayed silent, letting the machine run itself. But Kyrie didn't fold. He rebuilt his reputation. He became a champion again in Dallas. A leader. A veteran player's trust. A guy finally at peace. Even when Luka left for the Lakers, Kyrie didn't flinch. He proved the narrative was never about his talent. It was about people needing him to fail to protect someone else's story. And that brings us back to the live stream. After everything he's lived through, Kyrie looked into the camera and said, "When I'm done playing, you'll hear the real story. Trust me." That wasn't a throwaway line. That was a man finally done protecting other people's legacies. He added, "No one could ever live in my shoes. No one can say what they would have done." That's someone who knows things the world has never heard. And when Kyrie finally speaks freely, without contracts, politics, pressure, LeBron's carefully built narrative machine might not survive the impact. He didn't need a Netflix documentary. He didn't need a PR campaign. He shook the foundation with one sentence on a livestream. And judging by how fast LeBron's fanbase panicked, they know exactly how dangerous Kyrie's truth might be. The clock is ticking. Kyrie's retirement isn't far away. And when the full story comes out, The entire basketball world will be listening.